Seeing the giant spider before them, the two were instantly stunned. Even more terrifying was that this thing could also shoot spider webs, causing the mountain peak in front of them to instantly collapse. Witnessing such a horrifying weapon of mass destruction, the two immediately returned to the train to prepare for an armed assault, intending to destroy this mechanical spider outright. Meanwhile, the president was about to drive the final nail for the newly built railway, but just as he raised his hammer, he noticed a giant spider rushing toward him. In an instant, everyone scattered, leaving the bewildered president standing alone. It turned out to be a combat unit created by the rebel Dr. Lovely. He demanded the president's surrender immediately and establish a new Lovely nation with him as its leader. However, the president refused his demand. Enraged, Lovely fired 2 shots, blowing up the new train as a threat. Just then, Gordon disguised himself as the president in an attempt to protect him, but Lovely couldn't be bothered to distinguish between the real and the fake, capturing both outright. Meanwhile, Will had just stealthily climbed up when he was discovered by one of Lovely's henchmen and shot down with a single bullet. Fortunately, Gordon had secretly modified his clothes, which saved him from harm. Soon, Lovely gathered a large number of scientists and elaborated on his grand plan to seize half of the country's land and establish himself as a local warlord. He forced the president to sign a surrender document, threatening to kill Gordon if he refused.
Artemus!
Unesha! Don't worry, I'm wearing an impermeable. She aimed at my heart which has loved this country so much. Shoot him in the head. Damn.
Just then, a dancer suddenly appeared. Lovely was instantly captivated by her fiery figure, unaware that it was actually Will in disguise. Taking advantage of Lovely's distraction, Will shot flames directly from his chest, plunging the entire venue into chaos. Lovely seized the spider and fled with the president, quickly arriving at the nearest rural area, wreaking havoc as a threat, yet the president remained unmoved. Meanwhile, Gordon built a simple aircraft with his bare hands. The two soon took off in the plane and caught up, manually dropping bombs. However, the bombs proved ineffective and also caused the plane's wings to be shredded by the spider's machine gun fire. Thus, the two crash-landed onto the spider and were brought before the leader. Seeing Will still defiant, the leader sent him to the lower level, where modified humans were tasked with eliminating him. In less than 2.5 seconds, Will's small dagger was severed. Soon 2 more opponents joined the fight, brutally beating him. Fortunately, as a trained agent, he possessed considerable combat skills and quickly took down the 3 modified humans. However, an even more formidable modified human soon appeared behind him. His entire body was covered in iron-like skin, impervious even to a large wrench. Just as Will completely gave up and handed the wrench to his opponent, the latter accidentally touched a live wire, electrocuting himself on the spot and falling down. With no other choice, the leader decided to step in personally. But as soon as he descended, he was kicked flying. Just as Will thought he could overpower him, the leader grew 4 spider legs. Seeing Will being brutally beaten, Gordon pulled out a mini pistol. Unfortunately, the only bullet missed its target. What the leader didn't know was that the bullet had the ability to neutralize electrical functions. Soon, the 4 mechanical legs were disabled. Then, Gordon took out several of the leader's henchmen above. But with no one left to control the giant spider, they had to take over themselves. The awkward part was that neither of them knew how to operate that, and they accidentally accelerated the spider's speed. Ahead lay a massive cliff. Just then, the leader made one last desperate struggle. A shot happened to damage a critical component, halting the spider at the edge of the cliff. The two fell off, but the leader decided to take them down with him and deliberately plummeted. Fortunately, Will managed to grab onto an iron chain, saving himself from drowning, while the leader fell to his death, shattered to pieces. For their meritorious service and protection, the president immediately established an intelligence agency, appointing the two as its first and second employees. Their future work would specialize in protecting the president. Soon, Wei Yu also stepped forward to bid them farewell. It turned out that what he had been searching for was not his scientist father, but his scientist husband. Thinking they could finally win the beauty's heart in the end, the two were utterly disappointed. However, they managed to salvage a spider mechanoid for future use. From then on, they could simply blow things up when carrying out missions.